Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.
That is right. November 1st, 2022. It's the NBA Tip-Off Show powered by WagerTalk.com. We got 4 games on the board here tonight. We're going to break down 3 of them. Talk about some of the breaking news in the association if you're just waking up to the world right now, which Ski is, so we'll probably let him know. But we are going to have a very special guest today, but let me first introduce the OG crew, the original NBA Tip-Off Show. The members are Ski Profit back in the house. Rob Vino is here. Unfortunately, Rob was stuck at the Phillies game last night, hoping they would play, but they didn't. And his weatherman, he's got to get a new one. And Tony Finn back in action here. Gentlemen, happy Tuesday here on this association. Boy, they just love grabbing headlines, don't they? And we got a few here today. Before we dive into what the Brooklyn Nets are going to be doing now as they're heading in a different coaching direction, Ski, my man, I know you were shooter's going to shoot, man. Your usual 39 plays last night on a full card here. What are you backing that up with here tonight? Another profitable evening for you.
Yeah, no secret. I like to play a lot of games. And yesterday, did come out ahead 10-7 in one day. And today, not nearly as many bets. I think I have about 3 or 4 in the association, no more than 4. And I have a best bet today, 3 units. So let's take it to the window.
I love it. Shooter's going to shoot here, people. And Ski, he's knocking them down, as is Rob Vino in the house. And Vino, what is going on? Sucks about the Phillies game. But, hey, the good news is you got to watch the Sixers minus Embiid last night. And they handled business. But what do you got for us tonight here? World Series, everything going on. What do you got for us?
Yeah, we got that one right, didn't we, Joe?
Yeah, we did.
They pushed that Philadelphia total down 5 points because no Embiid. And, of course, it went over the total. 70-point fourth quarters always help. Yeah, and also we got it right yesterday. We got to buck the contrarian gods and win, right? Big second half out of Sacramento. So you hide behind Steve Merrill. He gets to win a lot of games. Today, believe it or not, I'm on something that you didn't talk about, which is Tuesday night Maction football. MAC Conference back in action here for November. Going to get football every single day of the week for quite a few weeks in a row now, but I do have a couple of plays up in MAC football right now. One play from the NBA here today. The pitching change in the World Series kind of threw me off a little bit here, so I don't think I'm going to play there. But 2 college football, 1 NBA for this evening.
All right, locked and loaded. Maction is back. 27 straight days of football is what we've got on tap here. Our special guest told us all about that here in the college football show. But Tony Finn, welcome in, my man. I know you working hard in a one-legged man and an ass-kicking contest, man. You got college basketball coming up. I know you're diving into NBA. I know you're locked and loaded with the World Series here. And, of course, college football, NFL. What's going on, man?
Well, I've been trying to get some information, some intel information on why an old buddy of mine, Jock Vaughn, was hired and they didn't bring on Seth Greenberg or Larry Brown or somebody with more of a Hebrew background to this Nets team. But I can't get any intel on that. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk. I do have the NBA up. I got 5 positions. I'm taking 5 positions, 2 games, 3 prop positions tonight. I will have the Dead Presidents report for MLB up right after the greatest NBA tip-off show on earth is over.
All right, we're going to pretend that didn't happen. Cut. All right, Tony Finn in the house. Let us introduce our very special guest here for the show. Guys, you know it is $2 Tuesday at WagerTalk.com, which means our featured handicapper happens to also have a $2 5% best bet in the association as we welcome in well, you don't need any introduction. Ralph Michaels in the house here today. Look, he's got his pen. He's got a special pen for us and everything. Ralph, welcome in, my man. So you got a 5% best bet up in the NBA. What else is going on with you?
You know, it only cost me a bottle of wine for Rob's wife, a bottle of tequila for Hakeem, and a dozen Quaaludes for Tony Finn to allow me on the show. So thank you, guys.
Where are they?
Number one in the NBA last year in profit and win percentage. Last year was the best season anyone at Wager Talk ever had in the NBA, plus 110 units, 4 straight 5% winners in the NBA. And my NBA plays rated 4% and higher have gone 24 and 5, 83%. A 5% play in NBA action tonight, $2.
$2 over at WagerTalk.com, guys. Doesn't get any better than that. So make sure you take advantage as we'll start right off with our contrarian play of the day. And, of course, we'll get to the big news about the coaching change with the Brooklyn Nets. We're going to break down that game coming up here against the Bulls. But the contrarian gods were this close to ripping Rob Vino on Twitter last night in the first half. But good thing they held off there as the Sacramento Kings did come back and finish business. But let's look at a very interesting one, not too far down the road from me here tonight, as the Miami Heat are going to be hosting the Golden State Warriors. And boy, oh boy, with about 70 to 75% of the tickets all on Golden State, the contrarian gods are speaking. They're saying not so fast here. These two teams just played a week ago. Didn't work out great for the Miami Heat. But the Golden State Warriors and the Heat are a little rested here, Ski. So what are you doing in this spot? Last time you picked the Heat, they lost. So what are you doing here tonight, Ski? Where are you going?
Yeah, shocker. I wonder who's in control of the contrarian play of the day. But Golden State. This is the thing. You guys all know, or everybody who's been following me for a long time, like you guys know how I feel about Golden State. I love the way they play basketball. I think they're a great team. I've been following them closely for years. And the past couple years, at least, when they're in this role, they're a better home team than road team. When they're on the road and they're a short underdog, you do not want them. That's the bookmakers baiting you, like, please take Golden State tonight. They've lost a couple games in a row. I know a lot of people will want them because of that. But I just can't get there. So, road dog line less than 3. They're 2-6 against the spread last season. For Miami, I also know my bad. I'm going to rock with Miami. But I also think it's a contrarian on the total as well, just because – every game so far, at least I think, has gone over, except for one for Golden State. And so everybody's running to the window to continue to bet that. And if we're betting the Miami Heat, and Miami Heat are the home team, I just kind of think, who controls the pace? And I think it's going to be the home team here. They're 23rd in pace. They're going to win by playing defense. And I looked up some of their games last year when they're a home favorite with the rest advantage and just a decent total, higher than 210, and it's supposed to be a competitive game. The line is, they're not bigger than a 14-point favorite. It was under 7-0. So I think that's how Miami wins this game tonight with their defense. And those are the two sides I like, Miami and under.
All right, Miami and under there on the side with the contrarian gods, Tony Finn. What about you, my man? Are you hanging with the gods tonight?
No. Well, I was going to say something stupid like that. Depends on what reference we're speaking. But I will tell you this, and I would agree with Ski and a lot of the analytics he just threw at you, and that is the number. If you're going to play this strictly on numbers, then you're probably going to be on Golden State. I mean, Miami is 1-5-1 against the spread. They're in the bottom third of the league, almost in the bottom 25% of the league, and points per 100 possessions in garbage time. They haven't, but this is a veteran team. A lot of these guys that take some time to get into the flow and the rhythm of knowing where each other is, even though they've played together for a long time. Butler and company didn't get overused in the preseason. They don't play much preseason anymore anyway, but I have a hard time with Miami. I did have Miami one time this year. I had them in a win, but fortunately, it was my only time because look what they've done. And heck, look what the Warriors have done recently, guys. I mean, this is a team that they lost in Charlotte overtime in a game they looked like they weren't even interested in. They went to Detroit, and Curve's doing some different things. And maybe Ski can comment on this, but it was I know that they played a lot of games in a short period of time, but that was really a bench game almost in Detroit where they ended up losing. At least the bench had a much deeper, broader, and more important role than they typically have without having injuries. So I'm not in this room, but if I'm going to be somewhere, I would agree with Ski. I would be on the home team tonight in Miami, given that short number.
All right, like in Miami and the short number. Go ahead, Ski.
I think that was a back-to-back for Golden State, and also Curry said to start the year like everybody is not in shape to play 30-plus minutes for the first couple of weeks of the season. So I think that's what it was.
Yeah, and he's been harping on that too. And listen, the last couple of times, Vino, Golden State, I think they're three? They've won the last 3 or 4 now. And it's usually because Curry ends up just going off and beating them. So Steve Kerr, pissed, screaming for defense, wants a little more sense of urgency. Got to believe Miami's bringing that urgency tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, Steve Kerr might have told us that nobody was going to play 30 minutes for the first couple of weeks, and he might harp on it, but he's not living by it because when they played Miami the first time around, 3 of the starters played 30 or better. Curry and Wiggins, I think, played 36 plus. So, they tried to win that game to the point that I think the 2 guys ahead of me were trying to make. Golden State's kind of coasting through here. They haven't played a lot of defense in the last couple of games. Neither has Miami, for that matter. Miami's coming off the road, now at home. If we go to the rest factor, which I know Ski likes to talk about a little bit, that would favor Miami. Only 3rd game in 6 days. The other side, 3rd game in 4 days. So certainly that's an edge towards the Miami Heat. In that first game, Joe, the 123-110 Golden State win, Tyler Hero was miserable in that game. The other stars came to play. Butler played well. Adebayo played well. Curry played well on the other side. But Hero was the guy that was missing as far as somebody who's going to take a lot of shots and just didn't connect. They've been poor field goal shooting for the majority of the season. I do buy into some of the fact, like Tony mentioned, it's a veteran team that might take a little bit of time to get going here. But a game like this, everybody shows. Both teams want to win this contest. I happen to think, again, I'm going to agree with the point that was made, I think, by Ski about tempo dictating this game. Golden State's number 1 in the NBA right now as far as tempo is concerned, and Miami ranks 28th. But I think Miami can slow this one down enough. Even though there were a lot of points scored in that first game, 233, there wasn't an overabundance of field goal attempts in that game. It wasn't like one of those, where they put it up 190 times like we see in some of these really fast-paced games. So I think maybe the shooting comes down a little bit here because defense gets better. And I think Miami on their home court is able to control pace a little bit more. So I'll side with the contrarian gods tonight and take Miami.
Oh, very smart. And Ralph Michaels, let me ask you here, my friend. You heard what the 3 esteemed colleagues had to say here. If you say anything positive about Golden State, I'm cutting your microphone off. So go ahead and please tell me, what do you think about this game, Ralph Michaels?
Well, look, you have a Golden State team that is 6-1 to the over against a Miami team that's allowed 50% and 53% shooting the last 2 games. And by the way, Rob, you talked about the number of shots. The game that did not go over for Golden State was 120-113 against Charlotte. It failed to go under by a half a point, and the teams combined for 202 shots. Golden State had 100 shots. Charlotte had 102. I went back and forth on this game, so I am not going to go with the gods, but I did have to go to the database, and Ski mentioned a subset of this. when you take the Golden State Warriors on the road since last season, and the line's between the threes, so you're playing a competitive opponent, they are only 5-12 straight up and 4-13 against the spread. That is 23.5%. That clearly has me leaning with Miami, but not enough to get there with my money.
All right, good stuff there. To God say, give Miami here tonight. Too much love in the marketplace for the Golden State Warriors. So the Miami Heat is your contrarian play of the day. All right, we're going to switch over to, as the world turns with the Brooklyn Nets. We're going to take a look here, of course, at our featured matchup, and the Chicago Bulls taking on the Brooklyn Nets, who thought it'd be great if they fired their coach a couple hours ago. And then, of course, about an hour after that, we find out, hey, nothing says, no controversy here. Let's see if we can't, the former coach of the Boston Celtics, let's see if we can get him to come over and be the head coach. So total up, just absolute craziness here, Ski. And they still got to play a game, one in which Seth Curry is out, I think already. Simmons has also already been ruled out. Not seeing a ton of movement one way or the other. 1.5 right now. 232 is the total. Yeesh. What do you think about the Brooklyn Nets and the Chicago Bulls tonight, Ski? Oh, no, we can't. We're not. You want me to mime it?
My bad. You hear me?
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
All right, my bad. I think a couple of different things. First, I don't think it really matters right now if Simmons is in or out. I mean, we saw that yesterday. They got another win with him on the bench. And two, it does concern me that they did fire Steve Nash today, because we all know when teams, fire their coach, they usually come to play in that next game. So those are two things that does concern me on the Brooklyn side. But I got to go with the rest advantage, Rob. I mean, you guys already know. Brooklyn on the back-to-back. It's their third game in 4 nights. Bulls have 2 days rest. I mean, if you just went with this scenario, team with more than 1 day's rest versus a team without rest, you're covering like 64, a little bit more than 64% of the time last season. So I'm looking at that. And I know Chicago has a game tomorrow. I pulled that up too. Since 2018, in that scenario, they're 70.9% against the spread. So I just think Chicago's been playing better defense. Brooklyn still hasn't proven to me, just because they fired their coach, that they're going to stop anybody. They still haven't been rebounding, and they got a problem down there with Vucevic tonight. So I think Chicago is the right side in this game. And I mentioned Vucevic. I think you have to play on him some way, shape, or form, just because Brooklyn, that's where they're weak at, the big man position. So I was thinking double-double, but it was too juiced. I went with rebounds over 11.5. Brooklyn is the worst rebounding team in the league so far. 5 out of their 7 games, they've allowed 12-plus rebounds to a player. So I'm going with Vucevic over 11.5 rebounds, and I like the Bulls tonight.
And likes the Bulls. I knew there was a rest advantage angle for Ski in there somewhere, Rob Dino. I just knew it, man. I knew he was going that way. But listen, it's a good thing Nash isn't there anymore, because now they'll rebound. What do you think of this game tonight?
I think if they had just hired Jacques Vaughn to begin with 3 years ago, they wouldn't have to rehire him again, right? He was the interim when they kicked Kenny Atkinson out of there.
Yep.
And then it was between him and Nash for the head coaching job, and, gave him an assistant's gig again, kept him on the bench, and now he's the interim one more time. So we'll see. I think the players, they'll play for Jacques Vaughn. We saw it in that run that he had as interim head coach. They played real well under Jacques Vaughn, and he probably should have got the job at that time. But I'll piggyback off of Ski. I don't think who the head coach here matters. We just talked about Steve Kerr preaching how his guys weren't ready to play 30 minutes. Let me give you these numbers real quick here. Kevin Durant, the last 5 games, has played between 39 and 41 minutes already. We're not 10 games into the season. This guy's playing 39 minutes every single night or more. Kyrie Irving, the last 6 games, between 39 and 43 minutes. So you got 2 guys that are constantly on the floor. And I get it that, they love to play, but I don't know how long these guys are going to last before injury sets in with either one of them. And fatigue certainly could set in here tonight. Back-to-backs, 3rd and 4 nights. Bulls off of rest. The Bulls, aside from the Nets not being a good rebounding team, like Ski said, in fact, they're atrocious rebounding. They're not a good team defending threes. And don't look now, but the Bulls in their last 3 games have heated up from three. I think they're 41% average from three-point land, their last 3 games. So they've got plenty of weapons. I think this game goes over, Joe. I don't think there's a lot of defense to be had, especially, say what we want about Ben Simmons. But when the Nets have needed to try and stop a guy on the other side thus far this season, they've used Ben Simmons to do so. He's not available here. I don't see how they stop the Bulls from scoring. So I'm going to play over. I think, what are we looking at, 232 or something like that?
Yep,
I'm going to go up and over 232.
All right, still likes it. Up and over 232. 233 is an open. I'm seeing it. It's come down just a hair here, Ralph Michael. So what do you think? Total side? How would you approach this one tonight?
Well, Rob's talking about players' minutes, and he's mystified that you could play people 38 minutes this early in the year. Michael Jordan played 1,072 games, and Michael Jordan averaged 38.3 minutes per game. If Michael Jordan was watching the show, he's like, what the F, Rob? You know what you're talking about?
Yep, that's so true. Yep, I knew it was coming.
Oh, my God, has the game
Larry
changed.
Bird never complained.
And Joe, I'm going to call you out. You said Brooklyn is now going to rebound. In the last 5 games, they did top 37 rebounds in one game. They had 45 against Dallas. You look at a team's rebounding per game, you rarely see people in the 30s. Last 5 games, Brooklyn, 35, 37, 34, 39. I don't think they know how to rebound. The new coach, you know what? You can't change much in game number 1. You just got the job. You're going to go out and let those players play what they're accustomed to. I actually like under in the first half. You look at Chicago. Chicago has yet to top 50% shooting in any game this year. Their road game at San Antonio, 75%. And they started off the season on the road at Miami and Washington, shooting 44 and 41%. I think maybe Brooklyn slows it down. Maybe they do rebound a little bit. Chicago playing only their second road game in the last 7 games. I like a slow start to the game, and I'm going to go under in the first half.
All right, first half under. Love the approach. And Tony Finn, I'm looking at the Bulls injury report. It's like, good Lord, we're like 2 weeks in, and we still got Zach LaVine, DeSono, Kobe White, Drummond. Lonzo Ball won't be back for a while. Depth is an issue here for this Bulls team as well. What do you think tonight?
Well, they haven't, coming into the season, they weren't great with these injuries they're having. Last year when they had to replace Ball at point. They became kind of a pedestrian group. But the interesting part for me in this is Jacque Vaughn and what he preaches in basketball, which is pace, sharing the basketball. And if you remember a couple of years ago, you guys were talking about it, so you must remember it. But I couldn't remember, so I decided I better look it up before you called on me. But when he took over in the bubble, if you remember late, there was guys like the Latvia god, Keurig. It was guys like, and I couldn't get it, but I pulled it up. Well, here it is right now. Temple, Harris, Allen, LeVert, those guys. That starting 5, that first 5, they beat 4 teams that were basically the postseason contenders after he took over. In a game on Brooklyn, 129, LA Clippers, 120. When I was talking about Jacque Vaughn earlier, I have a lot of guys who are friends of mine and guys who are in this business, not this business, but the sports covering teams business, basically as beat writers, and they think this team will step up for Jacque. They think they're going to like his style, which is, again, spread the floor, move the basketball, and play at pace. Chicago is beat up, like you mentioned, Joe. They really are. But defensively, they haven't been very good. The last 2 games they've lost or given up almost 118 per 100 possessions. But they are scoring. They're shooting the 3 ball. They're making it. And as my esteemed colleague, Mr. Robert, talked about, over 232 seems to be the play for me. It's either that or I'm just going to stand back and watch and be just marveled by Kyrie Irving and how he can get me my 6th rebound last night laying on his back. By the way, I had his rebound prop over 5.5, and he's laying on the floor with about 3 seconds to go, and the ball just happened to fall in his hands. And I said, thank you.
Rather be lucky than good, man. Any day of the week. It's an interesting matchup, guys, simply because certainly from a total, if pace is there, this total is dropped in the market. So it'll be interesting to see what it goes off at. But currently right now, right around that 232 mark with the Bulls and the Nets. All right, let's focus on our overtime matchup here, where we'll focus on the total here a little bit. This is the third of 4 games tonight on the card, and it focuses on the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Phoenix Suns here tonight. Now, ironically enough, this went 230 and a half to the open, and boy, is it dropped. I can't say I'm shocked. Ayton, of course, still a no-show, I believe, for Phoenix here tonight, which kind of changes things a little bit. Minnesota has not been the offensive juggernaut some people thought they were, but they are bringing the defense, Ski. So not shocked that it's dropped, but is there any value in maybe looking at the over here tonight, or is it under for you?
Well, I'll see if I can make a case because I know the defensive numbers for both of these teams have been really good to start the season. I know for Phoenix, they will be without DeAndre Ayton, just Biyombo down there. And I have to think, he's not going to play that many minutes this game. And when he's not on the court, they have to go a little bit smaller. And versus Minnesota and playing smaller, I think they're going to play faster. Versus Minnesota, their strength is their big man over there. So they should have an easier time scoring versus smaller lineup. And I just see a way for Minnesota to put up a lot of points and a way for Phoenix to push the pace and also put up some points on their end. So that being the case and it coming down, I think I can get there with an over.
Still even out. Okay, perfect. 227 here. And the whole point of getting Rudy Gobert, Rob Vino, was defense, right? He was going to be the rim protector, free up Karl Anthony Towns. What do you think here? Are we looking at an over now? Has it gone too low, or do you think there's still room for it to drop?
Well, first of all, I don't know how you could be so surprised that the total dropped. I mean, a star player's out of the game, so immediately the ambulance chasers come with under money because somebody's out of the game, right?
Yep.
But I'm going to jump right on what Ski said because that's where half my notes are here as far as what he was talking about where the total is concerned. If you're a props player, the low-hanging fruit would be let's just go play Rudy Gobert rebounds in this game, right? DeAndre Ayton's out. That's the knee-jerk reaction. Biyombo's no pushover when he's in there. When you look at his overall numbers, you see he only plays 13.3 minutes a game. But since Ayton's been out last 2 games, he's playing 22 and 23 minutes, picked up 13 and 5 rebounds. Maybe the right way to go if you're a prop player is to go try and play Biyombo rebounds over. He certainly, if there's one thing he can do, it's get boards. However, like Ski said, the most he's going to play is that amount of minutes. And then in comes Jock Landale. And it could be a field day for Gobert. However, my idea is that just the way Dallas did last year in the playoffs, Dallas used tempo to play Gobert to the bench. When you run, Rudy Gobert's he can't play in the game. He just can't stay on the floor because he can't compete at pace. So I think Phoenix, without Ayton, probably does try and run much more. They've got the guys to do it. They can match up with Minnesota very well here in a run contest. Remember that Minnesota's number 3 in the NBA in pace still. They still want to get up and down. I think it could get over, Joe. I got to tell you, I think Phoenix is going to use that strategy to just get Gobert off the floor and make him a non-factor in this particular ball game. And the way Booker's shooting right now could be a big night for him. And the way Anthony Edwards is playing, D'Angelo Russell didn't play so well offensively last game. So I think D'Angelo Russell probably comes back with a good game here too. I'll probably look over. I think the number just dropped because of Ayton, and that's not good enough for me.
They're going to have to do a better job of boxing out here. The Rockets kind of feasted there a little bit on the offensive boards Tony Finn, and they got themselves a pretty good game. A lot of second chance points in that one. That's not going to work with a team with Gobert and Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniel. That's a lot of length there on the court. So is it all up tempo? Is it an up and over situation for you, like Rob says?
No, it's a conundrum is what this is. Is I can't without Ayton. I'd like to say that I'd like to say Landale. This is a kid that he's the guy you want to play on the prop. I think he scores more than 10.5 points. There's never a shot he didn't like, and if you're going to go small, then you're going to basically going to ask him to play that number 5, that 5 position. He stretches it. He can play from the perimeter. He can shoot the 3, and he would be really. I immediately started looking at props in this, with Towns and with Gobert. The thing is, I was looking more towards them and what they can do offensively without Ayton. Ayton's the defensive numbers for Minnesota are pretty good, at least early on. 107.4, I think, is their defensive rating in non-garbage time. But if you've watched them play, it's what stands out more than anything is how bad they look offensively, how out of sync, how they're not moving the ball. Much of that may be, or a big part of that may be the entry of Gobert into the rotation, what he does, and maybe some of the changes or adjustments they've made to their offense because of him. But, that's where I would be in this game. I still like Phoenix here. I don't care that Ayton's out. I really don't care that Ayton's out. They find a way to win at home, and the number's fairly small. It's backed up a little bit. I'm not sure why anybody would want to be on Minnesota the way they've played offensively. And I certainly don't want to play this Phoenix team the way you guys have talked about how this team can score if they want to with Booker, et cetera, playing at pace. They can play at pace. They can play any way they want to. So I would be over the top of that number right now, the low number, I think, for a total. And I'd be on Lansdale as over 10.5 points in the prop. In fact, I may be on it after all. You talked me into it.
All right. Well, Ralph, it sounds like there's a correlation here. If you like Phoenix, expect up-tempo and maybe expect some points here, more possessions, more points. What do you think? Is this a over spot, or do you think there's some value going under here?
I must not be very smart going against this panel again. I actually like the under, but you look at Minnesota scoring, and they have played by far the weakest schedule in the NBA. It's not even close. No one's played a schedule like they have. They had been a favorite of 6 or more in every game. They were a road favorite against San Antonio. You played San Antonio 3 times, and you played OKC twice. So do you have to throw the stats out the window? Yes and no. But even playing that weak schedule, the offense only shot 41 and 40% the last 2 games. The defense has impressed me. Although it's been a weak slate, they have not allowed over 46% to any foe. Those are huge numbers, holding 4 of 7 teams to 41% or less. Yeah, Phoenix has shot 51, 52, and 53%, and they don't turn the ball over. You're talking about a run that 13 or fewer turnovers in 5 or 6 games. So you have Paul and Booker taking care of the ball. The rebounding is a concern without Ayton. Ayton, the leading rebounder. The guys from Phoenix are 6'8" and 6'11" that are going to be covering the front court. I think Minnesota is going to get their share of rebounds. I don't think Phoenix turns the ball over. I love the Minnesota defense, even though the competition's been weak, and I may be proven wrong, facing a quality foe on the road. But I think this Minnesota team is going to play much better against good teams this year. And for some reason, I think they're going to play down to their level of competition. They already lost to San Antonio as an 8-point favorite and to Utah as an 8-point favorite. I do like the under in this game.
I like the under. Well, they're going to need D'Angelo Russell. I think you're on to something there, Vino, to get going, because he's his PRA 4 of 7 games hasn't even come close. They've been under. So we'll see if D'Angelo Russell can get going. I'm thinking 25 and a half was the number that I saw. So we'll see what happens there. Should be a good one, though, guys, with Minnesota and Phoenix here tonight. And that, of course, leads us to our best bet situation here. You guys know the routine. I do want to remind you quickly, though, if you head over to WagerTalk.com, Ski Profit locked and loaded here tonight, as is Rob Vino and Tony Finn. Lot going on, guys, in the world of sports. You got football, you got World Series tonight, you got NBA, NHL. All three of these guys are ready to roll tonight. And, of course, Ralph Michaels is our $2 handicapper at WagerTalk.com. He's got a 5% best bet right now, guys. $2. That's it. In the association, in one of these 4 games here tonight, head over there and grab that for just $2 over at WagerTalk.com. All right, Ski, 60 seconds on the clock, my man. Talk to me. What are you thinking here tonight for a best bet?
I just got a little bit happy just because I know we can double team Tony Finn now.
Yeah.
It's two of us, SDQL versus Tony Finn.
Yeah.
Me and Ralph Michaels. So shout out to Ralph though, in all seriousness, because the situation I'm using for my best bet today on the site, I wouldn't even be able to look it up if he didn't show me how to use the database. So I appreciate him, and he has his best bet up for $2. Go check that out. For the best bet for the show, I'm gonna rock with a player prop, and Vucevic versus bottom 10 rebounding teams. So far, he's faced the Sixers. He had 19 rebounds. He faced the Celtics. He had 23. The other two were very stronger rebounding teams. And he has the worst rebounding team in the league tonight in the Brooklyn Nets. Andre Drummond is also out for the Chicago Bulls. So I think Vucevic should have to play extended minutes. 11.5. I mean, he's gotten closer to 20 when he's played these poor rebounding teams. So I think that's easy money tonight.
Ooh, I love it. Get her done here, but don't forget, they got a new coach. I'm sure that's going to make all the difference in the world. Rob Vino, talk to me here, my man. 60 seconds on the clock. Is there a best bet you got somewhere in this 4-game set tonight?
Yeah, well, I'll say this. The one game we didn't talk about is the game I used over at WagerTalk.com. So if you want my play on Oklahoma City, Orlando, that's up at WagerTalk.com right now for sale. But of games we talked about, Joe, I'm going to go back to Brooklyn, Chicago. Over 232 just seems low to me in this contest. The Nets are always going to play with pace. It's going to be the same old thing with them, right? They're going to play with pace. They're going to be able to score, and they're just not going to be able to defend. Ski just told you that low post rebounds should come easy. That means second chance points should come pretty easy here for them. I think the way Chicago shot the 3 in the last couple of games has been really good against a poor Nets 3-point defense. Not having Curry, no big deal, really. They still score without him. Not having Ben Simmons, I think, a big deal because they need him to at least defend somebody on the floor. Zach LaVine is in this contest. He's not out. He'll get his share. Give me the Bulls Nets over 232.
Up and over here for Rob Vino with the Bulls tonight and the Nets. And Tony Finn, come on, my man. 60 seconds on the clock. Which way you leaning here for a best bet?
Well, I'm not going to need much of this time. I'm going to first off.
All right, good talking to you then. Hey, all right,
yeah.
let that one.
Hey, you got it. All right, go ahead. No, Ralph really kind of surprised me when he's saying, look at who Minnesota's played. They played San Antonio and they played Oklahoma City. In truth, those two teams have played a lot better than some of the teams we expect to be playing well right now and leading their divisions, et cetera, et cetera. I'll say this. Don't sleep on San Antonio because Pop's not going to – he's not going to tank for a draft pick. And Oklahoma City, play hard, I don't care. But they're at a big disadvantage tonight. In the paint, Wagner, Banchero, Wendell Carter Jr., double-double. A double-double, he get 33 minutes, he'll score about 10, he'll get about 10 rebounds. Wendell Carter Jr., double-double, and it's only a minus 10. A minus 110, so it tells you they expect it.
All right. Wendell Carter, look at that. Throwing out a prop. Love it, Tony Finn. And, of course, our $2 handicapper, our special guest, Ralph Michaels. Ralph, 60 seconds on the clock. Do with it as you may. Just drop us a best bet if you would.
Hey, best bet is under Minnesota Phoenix. The last game we just talked about. I don't need to say anything else. I'll use up the rest of my time. College basketball starts in 6 days. There are 5 new teams, and there's a free 100-page guide at WagerTalk. If you go to my homepage, it talks about the new teams, returning starters, returning minutes. The new teams, the Linwood Lions, the Texas A&M Commerce Lions, the Southern Indiana Screaming Eagles, the Queens Royals, and the Stonehill Skyhawks. That's it. I'll leave the rest of my time for you, Joe.
Oh, I love it. 1% Club. Here we come, baby, with those teams. Damn it, you know it. All right, one more time here, guys. We'll roll around best bet recap as we've got Ski going Vucevic, man, over. It looks like, what is that, 11.5. We got Tony Finn, Wendell Carter Jr., I believe, there with a double-double, yes. We've got Rob Vino with the Chicago and Brooklyn over 232, and Ralph Michaels, he's going to go with the under in the Minnesota-Phoenix game tonight, under 227. Want to thank you guys once again for hanging out with us here on the show. Don't forget to hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner. Make sure you get some plans to come back and join us again. Oh, I don't know. We'll be back tomorrow before it's all said and done. I got it, Robert. There we go. I got it. Let it go. There we go. Good stuff there. And in the meantime here, guys, wish you the best of luck with your plays here tonight. And again, head over, $2. WagerTalk.com. Ralph Michaels ready to go here tonight. Get her done, Ralph. Get her done. On behalf of Ski, Rob Vino, Tony Finn, Ralph Michaels, we appreciate it, guys. Best of luck with your plays tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good luck.